Hi, welcome to part 7 in a series of videos documenting the rebuild of my 944 engine. In this video, I will be installing the head and camshaft assembly along with some of the accessories that are attached to the head. Welcome to 944 Restore. Before installing the head gasket, it's important that the surface of both the block and the head are as clean as possible. My block and head don't look very clean, but I spent a considerable amount of time scraping with a razor blade. They feel a lot smoother than they look. First, lightly oil the threads of the studs. The head gasket is directional. Look for the top label. It's okay to reuse the studs, but it's recommended to use new washers and nuts. The head must be tightened in 3 stages with a waiting period in between each stage. Stages 2 and 3 are torque angles, so I'm using a torque angle gauge. I'm marking the position of the washer to make sure there is no movement when torquing down for the final stage. After the final torque, I am marking the position of the nut and the washer. Right here I felt the washer slip. I didn't capture this on video, but I backed out this nut and noticed a pool of oil under the washer. I'm pretty sure I applied too much oil to the threads. I cleaned up the excess oil and retorqued the bolt. The rest of the nuts were torqued down without an issue. There are also 2 socket head bolts that need to be torqued down, along with a bracket for the wiring harness. Finding top dead center is a little more difficult with the head on, so I am demonstrating how I did it using some wooden dowels. You can see the height difference, showing where in the stroke each piston is at. The camshaft assembly gasket is also directional. I have the engine rotated so I can put the cam assembly on without the lifters falling out. One benefit of doing this out of the car. Be sure to add the water pipe before torquing down these 2 bolts. Unfortunately, I don't have video of this, but I used a magnet pickup tool to hold the bolts that go in the top part of the cam assembly. I used new washers for these aluminum sealing plugs. Here's what the engine looks like with the head and camshaft assembly installed. I thought it was interesting to watch the valves move while rotating the camshaft pulley. There are a few connectors that go on the head. This is the water inlet valve. I installed the air oil separator in a previous part of the series, but I should have waited. I had to remove it to install this water outlet. For the motor mounts, there are 2 different size bolts. The longer ones go on the bottom. This accessory bracket also has 2 different size bolts. The 3 longer ones go on the outside and the shorter one goes in the middle. Same thing for this motor mount bracket. The longer bolts go on the bottom. And that wraps up this part of the series. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button to know when the next part in this series drops. In the next part of this series, I will be installing the clutch pilot bearing, rear main seal, and the flywheel.